Okay, so what do Socrates and Jesus of Nazareth have in common? Obviously, they're both men who lived in the past, Socrates being one of the founders of philosophy, Greek philosophy in specific, and Jesus being one of the founders of Christianity. I say one of because the apostles had a great role in determining how Christianity went and what it was, though it focuses on Jesus. Both of them had students. Socrates taught people like Plato, who taught Aristotle. Socrates also taught Xenophon, another Greek philosopher. Jesus taught his disciples, his students, such as John and James and Peter and many, many others, but especially the 12 disciples who became known as the apostles. These things they have in common. But the biggest thing that they have in common that I want to emphasize right now is that neither one of them wrote a single thing down. Jesus did not write down his teachings in Aramaic, the language of his time. And Socrates, as far as we know, did not write anything down in Greek, the language of his time. So how do we know about them? The only way that we know about who they were, what they did, what they said, and what their character was like is through the writings of other people. In Socrates' case, it's the writings of Plato especially, and also the writings of Xenophon. The problem is those writings don't even really agree with each other on everything about Socrates. There's a problem in understanding who Socrates was and what his character was like because we don't have matching information. The same thing's really true for Jesus Christ. The only information we know about Jesus comes from what we now know as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then the writings in the New Testament that include the writings, the letters of Paul, and of Peter, and of John, and Jude, and James. This is all we have. Everything we know about both of these individuals is filtered through the lenses, the minds, the ideas of the people who wrote about them, not their own words. Someone may say to you, how do you know what Socrates believed? Well, we know because Plato wrote it down. Did Plato write it down accurately? I don't know. It's based on what Plato wanted to write down, what he wanted to record in his perspective on the teachings of Socrates. What did Jesus say, do, and believe? Who was he? I don't know other than through the writings of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the others in the New Testament. These are all things that were filtered through the minds of the church in the New Testament. That's how we know about them. And so to answer the question that you didn't really ask, but that I was thinking about as I put this together, is can I know for reality, for certain, what Jesus said, did, and believed, and what he taught other people? Can I know that for certain, without a doubt? And the answer I come to is no. There's other reasons for that I'll get into, but the first one is because he never wrote anything down himself. Everything we have about him is filtered through other people. This is Ori with De.Fundied.